So how far the clearing and settlement is secure for the investor? Previously, we have seen some frauds in MCX, NCDX, related to clearing it. Okay. See, I will give an example. So, all of us, basically talking about this Adani Group report. Okay. Think about, I think a few years back, the market would have collapsed. Today, if you look at, except the Adani Group, none of the system is so resilient that the system is more, market is moving, market is basically running, payment and settlement is happening, all your margins, everything is there. We are working in a T+1 settlement without any kind of distress. The system is working fine. So that means what you have put is one of the most stable and resilient settlement systems. Settlement system means if I have sold my property, I must get my money. If I have given my money, I must get my asset. This is the two things that settlement agency has to do. So the settlement agency, you talk about, I will give another example. Previously, I used to work in Clearing Corporation of India. Very recently, I was working there as a senior vice president. We were dealing in currencies. In a short span of time, the currency moved from 62 to 63 to 80 rupees. You can think about in a day, the current total currency transaction happens in India only in interbank markets. It's about 35 to 40 billion dollars. You convert into Indian rupee, how much amount? $40 billion in a single day transaction happens. On the month end, the transaction goes up to 240 to 300 billions on a single day transaction. But during this movement from 62 to 80, you have never seen a bank defaulting. You have never seen a client defaulting. This is because of the settlement system that we have put in place. Okay, the margining system, the settlement, the way we do the settlements. Okay, because finally, remember, when you trade in currency, it's more difficult than trading in stocks, because the currency settlement, rupee settlement happens in RBI, dollar settlement happens in New York, Federal Reserve, Fed. So there's a time gap of about 6 hours, and within 6 hours, there's a huge risk of a bank failing. Okay, you are collecting Indian rupee first, somebody is paying, and you will be getting or she will be getting the dollars after 6 to 7 hours in New York. So we have managed the system by changing the settlement rules, making it PVP. Then we are basically that there's a particular settlement system where the globally all the central banks, all these central banks who are basically using the fully convertible currencies, open their settlement window 4 times in a day. Okay, so that common currencies dollar can settle against Japanese yen can settle against South African rand can settle against euro can settle against Swiss Switzerland currency. So all these basically things are there. Okay, so we have basically come out from that fear of settlement being derailed to protect somebody. We are fully capitalized, our systems are so resilient, both in bond market, in equity market, in currency market, everywhere we talk about. The settlement and system is so strong that you do not really face problems. Otherwise, if this particular Hindenburg's report would have come about 5 to 10 years back about a particular company, it would have completely destroyed the entire stock market. But today you see, except Adani, nobody is affected in this particular group. The entire system, the market as a whole, market is going as it is. Settlement is happening as it is. Okay. If it is a stock market, if you have basically invested, there is a report. If the people are making losses, loss and profit is a part of the market. So that is going on. But as a system, we are there. There is no problem. Nobody can tell that I did not receive my money. Nobody can say that I did not receive my shares. So that's basically the resilience of the settlement system. Yeah. Yes.
excellent answer, sir. That is, I think our settlement guarantee fund of thousands of crores will take care of this type of So I have one question, that is, 90% of the trading is happening in the derivatives market. Cash market is only around 10%. So is that a good thing, or are we driving new investors into speculative elements? Because even in derivatives also, only few instruments are getting concentrated, like index options. Index options also, we have only Nifty options and Bank Nifty options. Almost 90% of options market. Futures market very less, options market very high. In options market also, index options very high. In index options also, only two instruments are getting highly concentrated. So will that high concentration pose a systematic risk or some sort of speculative tendency for the new investors?
Okay. See, today, if you look at the equity market or equity derivatives market, you will find that almost 90% of the 80 to 90% of the trading happens through program trading. Large amount of program trading. So people are not there. The computer systems are trading on equity, right? So what it is what you should say that it's not only India. Everywhere in the world you go, the retail people participate through mutual fund industry typically, and they are not into derivatives markets. Typically, they are not. They are more into mutual funds industry. In India, we are into a reverse kind of thing. Our culture started because the mutual fund industry was really started much later than people actually. Retail investors were there already in the market, okay, and that particular one continued because we have certain history. Like if you look at old history of BSE, if you read the BSE history, something used to be called Baj Badla. So Baj Badla was basically people used to charge interest to basically fund the your trading. Same thing was converted into a derivatives market kind of things. So it is the derivatives market, the culture has still remained. People, more number of day traders specifically, day traders are not preferring to trade in the equity market. Day traders are mostly into the derivatives market, where the derivatives market, while it is cheaper, your margin is less compared to basically the equity market. Your risk is also less because you are trading in index, right? So instead of taking a view on individual stocks, I am taking a particular index. And day trading, where if I go into day trading into the individual stocks, it is likely to more influence the individual stocks and investors than in the derivatives markets. So because of that particular reason, the derivatives has actually attracted many day trading investors, and the company, the banks, there are funding entities who are providing more credit and easiness of trading in this particular one, and that's why you see more speculative volumes of the derivatives market. And I don't think the trend is likely to discontinue. It is going to continue, but I can tell you the margins and other things that the NSE and BSE charges, who is going to make this particular trading, safer. So it's not really going to basically transmit from one particular market and destabilize the other market. It's not like that. Yes.
Could you please tell about overpricing or how it is influencing the stock market?
This overpricing and underpricing, think about a company, right? In older Jamanas, there are many people who used to send their children to study in foreign universities and all these things. Last time we wanted to go to Hong Kong many years back, I have to make 8 trips to RBI to get a permission for few dollars to go there. Then how these people who are sending their children to all education places, then there must be some mechanism, right? So whatever it is, there is something called a hawala market through which many things gets transferred like this. See what happens? What is under invoicing? A company is under invoicing certain, basically things is selling or buying, right? Over invoicing, that means I am making excess payments. So if I over invoice my imports, I will be making more payment than what I should make. The balance I can collect from somebody who is sitting outside. Similarly, if I under invoice my exports, I will be receiving less money, and some money I will receive there. Okay, officially. So this is the role of under invoicing and over invoicing in the balance sheet of the companies. Okay, so that's a particular, that means this can only change, over invoicing, under invoicing. It can only change with the stringent accounting IFRS standards. GAAP has reduced this, IFRS has reduced this, auditors are there. So auditors, if the auditors have to do, because this most of this thing happens what, there is all chartered accountants will tell you, or the commerce students will tell you, there is something called transfer pricing. So this is a case of transfer pricing has not been settled globally also. Even the GAAP, IFRS has not fully settled transfer pricing issues. There is some kind of agreement between the company and the chartered accountant to value certain things which is leaving my premises at a particular price. But that may not be the actual price. So under invoicing and over invoicing is basically, that means what, if I am doing over invoicing of my imports, I am theoretically paying more money than what should I should have paid. So thereby I am reducing my profits. That profit transfer is happening to my account through a different route somewhere. The money somebody is getting, so that's what is basically. So only that we can control through better accounting standards, enforcing regulations. This is possible. Yeah. Thank you.
Sir, I am Nagarjuna sir from Narayana Engineering College. Sir, as a beginner, I want to know the process of clearing settlement for IPOs and equities and derivatives.
Okay. So IPOs is basically you go to a broker who is a part of the primary markets, who will put your order, because IPOs are today being done in the stock exchange system, BSE and NSE, right? So that's a book runner which will basically run the book. If you apply to a particular broker, it will put your order and using APSA, okay, that your amount will be blocked amounts. Amount will be blocked in your accounts, and amount you will only pay if you are successful in this. And then what happens that this is for your primary markets. Okay, your account will be debited with cash only when you are allocated the shares by the company. Right? So this is a foolproof system. You have to talk to the broker. The broker will put your deals in the system, and it will come. Okay. With regard to the other one, settlements of the trade derivatives or the equity market and all these things, they are standardized. Today, the derivative, the settlement is T+1. If I am doing the trade today, right, I have to basically pay money today itself so that my broker pays money by 11:30 tomorrow to the stock exchange. So that means the risk is automatically going out. If I have done today trade, that means I must have money or I must have the securities in my account. Right? So if you have this, in next day, your money will go or money will come, securities will go or securities will come. So the system, you don't have to do anything. When you do a trade is automatically connected to a settlement system today. Okay? Even if you do a trade in BSE, you can settle in NSE. If you do a trade in NSE, you can settle in BSE. So those kind of systems are also in place. So settlement is basically guaranteed. That's why somebody said the guaranteed settlement SGF, guaranteed settlement system. Once you trade, there is no basically doubt that your trade will settle. Okay, money will flow to your account or security will flow to your account through your demat account. So you require a bank account and a demat account. That's it.
Is there any settlement process for the money market?
Money market is typically a more like an OTC market, right? Money market in which only large players actually trade, right? Small players, you may buy some commercial papers because the minimum size of this particular market is very high, right? So typically the banks and institutions, insurance companies, mutual funds are the people who are part of the money markets, right? Typically retail investors are very rare, very rare. Retail investors are not there, you can say, right? Only high net worth individuals are there who invest heavily on commercial paper market, on overnight market. But it is, remember, this money market settlement is a direct settlement between two parties. So there is no guarantee of settlement there, right? So this is a settlement system. Unlike retail investment, it is not guaranteed. Somebody can basically, that's why we use delivery versus payment mechanism. You will give me, I will give you. So there's a basically we try to talk to a custodian. The custodian will ensure delivery versus payments. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much.
In the interest of time, we will go to panel discussion.
So many, the call is coming, but the time point of view, wait, stop the question number. Now it is a time for the panel discussion. I request all the participants also carefully listen, particularly the panel section. This session will organized by the Professor Dhananjay. I requesting Dhananjay act as a moderator and also assist by the Dr. Jagir Hussain. Both people are good researchers, particularly in the field of the stock market. Now I request the Professor Dhananjay initiate the panel discussion. So, inviting all the panel members on the dais. Please come over. Please come here. Dhananjay.
I request distinguished guests, Professor Naik, Professor Ramesh sir, Professor Munnaranam sir, please come out to the dais so that we can start. No sir, no sir, please. So we'll be having this panel discussion on this very interesting and latest topic of Indian capital markets. So this will go like this. Please sir, sorry, invite all the people. Yeah. I invite all the. We have already come. Please sir. So our panel discussion goes like this. Just we will initiate with 1 minute or 2 minute remarks from all the panel members. Then we'll go to specific questions from the moderator. So initially I request all the professors to give 1 minute or 2 minutes remarks about the latest trends or present state of Indian capital markets. What are the major issues that are being faced in the capital markets for 2 minutes each. Then we will go for independent questions. So I will take from the clockwise. Dr. Professor Munnaranam sir.
At the outset, I am extremely happy that the topic is relevant today to discuss. And our keynote speaker throw the light on various issues. From a practical point of view, by Dr. Nagarjuna, Golkanath, he elaborated challenges and practical aspects, because many times our researchers will see insight into the theoretical aspects. But Professor Golkanath had an experience both the theory and practical aspects. And today's trend, the capital market, it is very difficult because various segments. Even 10 rupees, what is the minimum 100 rupees or 10 rupees or 200 rupees? Because Indian market, we want to see the Indian capital market rather than just we have to compare. But our situation, our trend, the peculiar situation of Indian people in respect of the savings is varies from the state to state, even from the income point of view also. The people who have income. And this, how to bring these people to create the corpus fund to enhance the strengthen the industry, industrial segment, industrial base, because the investment is very important. The capital is very needed. The retail investors also very important. The segment, this segment also very important in the present context also. I think Gulkanath will agree also, because we have to bring these people to the mainstream also to invest and save this amount rather the investment in financial institutions. I think with this I will hand over to Dhananjay.
Initially we will be brief, but then we will go for specific questions. Now I request Ramesh sir for his brief comments.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is not my first visit to this campus, especially to this conference hall. I have come a number of times. Maybe the current students may not be aware, but for the last almost 20 years I have been visiting this department. So it is a homecoming for me to attend today's national seminar. Professor Shriram happens to be very close friend of mine. Like as Vice Chancellor said that we need to accept his capabilities, but at the same time we differ with his view. Same is the view with me also. I fought with him on many issues, but yet when he invites me, I accept and come down. So that is the working relationship. And Professor Shriram is definitely a get-going person, a mover. And I'm happy that I am sharing this platform today. And in terms of today's theme, the recent trends in capital market, I need to share one small information with the students, other faculty members present here. Year 1998.
Request Professor Sudha Madam also to join the panel. We are having a panel discussion. Please.
I remember the year 1998 when we had organized a similar conference on strength in Indian capital market in Goa in last year. In association with BSc, NSC was not there at that point of time. BSc and NSBN and many other mutual fund companies. So there was a consensus that there has to be a separate course on Indian capital market, especially on capital market. Like we have MBA program in terms of the generic MBA program and various other programs. So it was that concept with which we worked with that conference, and then 1998 conference was resulted in terms of starting an MBA. We started with MFS program, which is called as Master Financial Services, which was a self-finance program of 2 years in Goa University, the first program of that. First self-finance program in Goa University. January. Normally, the program, new programs are, will start in the beginning of the academic year. But then our Vice Chancellor insisted, we don't want to lose the time, and then you start. So I took the lead in starting the program in January 2000, which is called as Master of Financial Service for Grameen Commerce Department. And today we stand as MBA Financial Services, which is part of Goa Business School, and with full faculty appointments sanctioned by the government of Goa, with 4 professors, 5 associate professors, and 4 assistant professors. So this is what explains what we are talking about. And Golaknath is for me, because he has briefly said that I know him for last many years. But then Golaknath was associated with me running this program. He was invited as visiting faculty for many years. And one more information which he has not shared with you is that he got his doctorate degree from our Goa University. So this is the associate. So therefore, I am very happy. Now the Nagarjuna University has taken the lead, and I don't want to share much more information except that I will be talking to you in detail in my subsequent section. Only 2-3 points I will share with regard to the trends in the capital market in terms of 2-3 sentences, not more than that. And then we can have the discussion. When we are talking about Indian capital market, as Dr. Golaknath would agree with me, maybe 2-3 points that you 2-3 points which are very 2-3 points is going to be conscious when we are talking about the status of Indian capital market. As our Vice Chancellor said that it is the human capital which is more important. Fine. We understand it is the human capital, and for which the country, because we boast the youngest generation, which we have. The China has now gone beyond the generation, young generation, and they are loaded with the aged population, whereas India is loaded with younger generation. And that's the reason why we see from India, there is a lot of flight of human capital to various countries. Now, even if you see in terms of new education policy, as you understand that the government of India through the UGC has brought this new education policy where the foreign universities are being brought to India. It's like Skill India program with which all of you are aware of. And now similarly, educate in India. So we are inviting foreign universities to come to India and then train our people, because we are loaded with younger generation population, unlike China and many other countries. So we need to focus on that. And your Vice Chancellor was very right when he said that human capital is the most important thing, because we need to start from there. And now the Skill India, as I said, that the program that we started, as I said, MBA Financial Services, is the kind of thing that we need to generate. And Professor Shivaram, I am also suggesting to you, you have already ventured into international business, MBA. but this is the time. Now this may be the starting point for you to start one more program of MBA in capital markets or financial services. So please take it seriously and work on it. Before you came here, I just mentioned to the audience that I started this program in 2010. Now we are 22 years forward. And now it is time for you to take the lead, and I'm sure the Vice Chancellor will give you whatever freedom you require. You have to take the lead. And now I conclude in one sentence in terms of trends in Indian capital markets. Whatever trends that what we saw, the trend is not in terms of elaborating what is the inflow of capital from foreign countries and what is the kind of market returns what we get and what is the level of participation of the individuals in the capital market and what is the awareness of markets among the general public. So these are all the issues that needs to be discussed if we are talking about trends in capital market. Ultimately the capital market will succeed only when you focus on three important points. One, market efficiency, inclusion of the participant. When I am talking inclusive participation means not necessarily the retail investors, but also institutional investors, foreign investors, foreign companies, and so on. Then the other important factor is the cost efficiency of participating in the market process. So these are all the aspects on which we need to concentrate when we are talking about trends in the capital market. So this is the platform on which we are going to speak. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. The highly relevant points based on the skilling of financial markets. As you know, these MBA financial markets and BBA financial markets are very popular. And also you have NSC and NISM continuously skilling to the certifications. It's highly popular courses in India, and now it is the need of the hour to skill people in the financial markets. We are having huge turnovers, around 3 lakh crores per day. You see NSC turnovers. Now, I know that Governor sir has given detailed presentation, but still I will give him to highlight one or two points. Just before handing over to Professor Nagarjuna sir.
Yeah. Maybe we can think about, basically the most important part that affects the capital market is the acceptance among the common masses. Right? Common masses means, can a fisherman invest in stock market? So those heavy working on education, capital market education must spread to the grassroots level in the regional language, the way we talk our mother tongue. Otherwise, this market will never succeed to bring those people out of their domain to this particular market. No capital market can be successful if we live in a small part of the world in their own domain. Thank you.
Dear friends, first of all, for a few seconds, let me congratulate the entire fraternity of the Commerce and Business Management for organizing this kind of challenging task. Just listen for a couple of minutes. I don't take much of time. First aspects you try to remember. So I welcome my colleague Dr. Sudha. We are came from the same Usmania University. Student friends, you try to remember one important thing. If you are not a risk taker, remember a point. If you are not a risk taker, let us not discuss about the stock market actually. First point. The second point, you are all the students. We have made some small experiment. I will talk about the failures of the stock market after this 1 minute of time. I'm the favorite investor in the stock market of the Satyam Computers. I accumulated 1,000 shares of the Satyam Computers over a period of time. My now portfolio is around 1.15 crores. I'm the trader in the stock market. So on that day, tomorrow Satyam Computer results are declaring. I told my share broker to remove 300 shares. The prevailing rate is 300 rupees. That is what is the total investment? 90,000. I sat before the TV. Satyam Ramalingara is presenting beautifully. I thought, but he is presenting in a different way, telling that next month I don't have money to pay the salary. It is in the red, so and so. If the government permits me, I will try to bring the laurels of the Satyam Computers back to the original. Another screen is opened, 300 share rupees is come down to immediately 250, then another 24 hours 200, then 150, then 100, then 25 it is down. What is my investment in the stock market? 90,000. My 90,000 investment has come down to 7,500 because Nagarjuna could not get heart attack because that is my own money, I have not borrowed. Friends, what you have to say? As a students, I am trying to advise you one thing. All our management students, borrow 25,000 rupees from your father. Start investing in the stock market. Buy and sell, buy and sell. If you are lucky enough, 25,000 rupees will become 1 lakh. Otherwise, your 25,000 rupees may become 20,000. The last of 5,000 you will gain enormous knowledge in this stock market. Number 2, first of all, the limitation what we are Indian companies are facing. Our markets are already linked to the international markets. When the United States of America stock exchange is down, immediately our Indian economy shows that our stock market also has to down. అసలు వాళ్ళ మార్కెట్కి మనకి ఇంత సంబంధం ఏదైనా చెప్తే I have a question, simple question. Our Indian companies are doing very well. America is not doing very well. When the American stock index has come down, why Indian stock market has to come down? What's the rationality? And our companies are doing yesterday very well. That doesn't mean that today companies are within 48 hours, our companies are failed to do it. Perfect capital markets అనేది మన దగ్గర లేవు. కారణం ఏంటంటే the information which is flowing, only a few people know about it. రేపు నేను 10 గుర్రాలు హార్స్ రైడింగ్ ఉంటున్నాయి. నాగేశ్వరరావు knows that inside the trade information ఏ గుర్రం తెలుస్తుందో నా ఒక్కడికే తెలుసు. Rest of the people doesn't know. I put all my money on that one, therefore I am going to be winner. When you look at that Adani group yesterday, in 48 hours 6 lakh crores are gone. This is only for the common investors like you and me. Then what is the solution? Stock market has to be very careful in protecting the interest of the common investor. There are two things. If at all you want to build up a strong economy, if at all you want to successful in the MBA program, there are 24 subjects, you have to be perfect. When you want to become the strong economy, right? In addition to so many aspects, the stock markets, compared to the 20 years back, our savings are increased, our salaries are increased. That means you are going to save. That doesn't improve the economy. Then what we have to do? That savings has to be converted into the investment actually. There also no problem. But problem is who is going to safeguard your investment actually? Unfortunately, our individual investors also we have the two things to do it. Risk and return. We are always focused on the return only. Then who is going to focus on the risk actually? That is what our Indian stock markets, the first aspect has to be the perfect capital markets. Perfect capital markets in the the information flow has to be very fair. Insider trading అనేది completely బంద్ చేయాలి. Of course legal it is. And the SEBI has to be completely autonomous without interference from anyone actually. As long as a very important people are going to interfere in the stock market, like controlling agents like SEBI. SEBI cannot function, right? And it has to be complete. The second one, the technology. Of course, we are using the technology, there's no doubt about it. And we have to create such a awareness on the technology, showing that this technology is reliable actually. That is what the biggest problem in the stock market is, that adoption of the technology. Then I come to the lecture, I take some more points. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It is a wonderful. I just want to submit that Indian capital markets have come a long distance. We are one of the topmost, fastest settlements, T+1 settlement, where other countries are T+2. Our transaction costs have come down drastically. We are reaching 10 crores demat accounts, very huge growth in demat accounts. Young investors are increasing heavily. We have the top derivatives market in terms of number of contracts traded. Number one in the world in terms of contracts traded, not volume. We have NSE is the fourth consecutive year number one in derivatives contracts, derivatives exchange in the world. So with this type of improvements, I am sure that we are on the right path. Now I request Professor Sudha Madam to have a few comments on the present state.
A very good afternoon to everybody. We study a lot of theories in a subject called security analysis and portfolio management or investment management. We study that the investor is rational. Okay, so all assumptions, all theories are given based on the assumption that the investor is rational. That means he takes good decisions and decisions which make his risk minimal and return maximum. But in practice, that doesn't happen. So the investor is not really rational. He takes a lot of wrong decisions, and he has something called bounded rationality. So he really cannot predict what's going to happen. And so he takes all kinds of, wrong decisions which affect his investments. And so all that was given to us in theory is wrong in terms of behavior. So a subject called behavioral finance has emerged, which describes how the investor, takes all kinds of wrong decisions and has a lot of biases in his mind. And which is why the retail investors are always losing. It is the big institutional investors that make a lot of money at the cost of someone else, and it's always a win-lose situation. But still, the market attracts a lot of investors. As he was saying, the number of demat accounts have been increasing, the number of contracts traded are increasing, and you see a very vibrant market in India, and it's very resilient. That means, even COVID could not stop it. It has broken all records and has made a lot of highs. But from time to time, the Indian stock market keeps, witnessing a lot of scams. Okay, so these scams, because it's all foreign institutional investors who are investing in India, there's a very high likelihood that they can go to another country. Because they are there, this market is so vibrant. The minute they leave, it's all called hot money. They have the right to come, go anytime. Okay, so they sell whenever they want to, they buy whenever they want to. And if they leave this market, the market is no longer as it is. So that is why, everybody is afraid, that the Adani fiasco or, a whistleblower controversy that Reliance was involved in. All this is likely to impact this foreign institutional investors, and they look at regulation for giving answers to all this, and a lot of regulation is keeps coming from the government, and RBI, SEBI, and what is going to keep things in place. Okay, more when are expected to speak in a session.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. I very much appreciate your comments on the I very much appreciate your comments on the resilience of Indian stock market. As all of you have seen, how Adani fiasco has not affected the stock markets. The markets has continued by isolating the Adani companies, and otherwise it would have been, Adani is what you call a TBTF company, too big to fail company. Even then, Indian stock market has shown remarkable resiliency. And you have brought us the memories of behavioral finance, Mark Streetman and Daniel Kahneman, madam. That's a great contribution to our young minds. Now I request Professor Jawahar sir to say a few words in the interest of time.
National seminar on experience in the capital markets. And when you look at this particular topic, let me narrate you a small story over here. మనకి అమరావతి కృష్ణా గుంటూరు ప్రకాశం జిల్లాల వాళ్ళకి ఈ రియల్ ఎస్టేట్ బిజినెస్ మీకు బాగా తెలుసు కదండి. And you have seen the different trends in that particular thing. Somebody says that the capital will come in over there. Somebody, I think I'm talking the story of 2030. And automatically the Tullur and Guttur district lands on where are they? From 30,000 to 30 lakhs. And it is not the Guttur, it is going to be Nosebleed, it is going to be the Wombor, it is going to be something else, something else, something else. The way that you have seen the trends in this particular real estate market, the similar trends in terms of the corporate actions makes a sense in terms of making a big sense in terms of gaining or losing this particular share market. Volatility of the shares depends on the corporate actions. When I say these particular corporate actions, it can be a stock split. If the Reliance industry is going to, like what somebody says that, it is not an official thing, it is an informal thing. It is an informal thing, says that the next month Reliance is going to give 1:1 rights issue. Then the market, the current trend of 2,500 and 2,600 Reliance share will zoom up to 3,500. Splits of the shares, bonus of the shares, most of the corporate actions makes a lot of sense in terms of the keeping the trends, creating the trends in the share market. Either it is the industry or the individual or overall, the corporate actions makes a lot of sense, like what is creating the trends in the capital markets. With this for a few words, and now I thank you the organizers for giving me a small.
Thank you, sir. You brought out a very good point, like the volatility of the market. So the volatility is like a natural beast in the market. It is like a skin of the market. If you remove the volatility, the animal is dead. So the people in the market is lethal and it unforgiving. So it is a zero-sum game, as you know. Some people profit, some people lose. It is the nature of the beast. So now I request put some questions to the panel members, then we will go for the audience questions. And one more thing is that is, I would like to know something about social stock exchange. The NSE has recently said that it will start a platform for social enterprises to get listed and IPOs. I would like some of the panel members to throw some light on that.
Okay, social enterprises are those that don't have a formal business model. So their revenue generating streams are different at different times of the year, and how they generate is, each, like say Netflix or Uber or Oyo, they're all different. They don't have a regular business model like, other big companies. And but for them, revenue, funding is a big, there is a big need for them. And such companies, though they have a very good formula, but they are aiming because of lack of funds. And so our capital market has a lot of funds. If you keep reading the news, you'll understand that household savings are increasing year by year. And so there is a lot of money, and the stock exchange says they will help them get listed. So that is what. So social enterprises, as of now, the scaling up activities don't happen because they don't get funds. So that can be done through stock exchanges.
I can add a few things on this concept. Social enterprises are the ones to which, as the madam has mentioned, they are not profit oriented. Like as we have societies registered, non-profit societies. Even in academic institutions, we have all the academic institutions which are run in private sector, they are all under registration, the society registrations, which are supposed to be in quote non-profit organizations. Though in reality, most of these private organizations or the private universities which are registered under this act, they also make the profit. Now we had a recent discussion in the Ames board that when the UGC allowed the foreign universities to set up the campuses in India, they are governed by the FEMA rules. FEMA rules, strictly speaking, that in terms of repatriation of profits, whatever you do, they are governed by the FEMA Act. But when it comes to the foreign universities setting up of their campuses in India, whatever profit they make, they are allowed to send back to foreign countries. And that is the relaxation which is given by the recently announced recent agreement. Now what happens here? We are talking about developing the skills of Indian population. And now don't we have the necessary infrastructure, necessary educational institutions in India to have that kind of capacity building for the so-called skill development of the younger generation in India. But yet, the government wanted to introduce the foreign universities into the country only because of one simple reason. But there are about to go to the statistics of 2022, about 2.45 lakh students migrated for higher studies, only for higher studies, to US and Canada. And imagine the outflow of the funds through which these people have to pay the fee, and also for spending that stay there. So this is one of the root causes, and at the cost of Indian institutions. And if the similar facilities are provided in India, then our students may not crave for doing that degree from foreign university because they are coming here and giving you foreign university degree. So that is one kind of such motivation which is given. Similarly, when it comes to registration of the corporate organization in the National Stock Exchange of either BSE, NSE, there are corporate form of organization which are registered under the Companies Act. Now the new concept is the social organization which could be registered under Companies Act or even non-Companies Act. You remember now that corporate social responsibility, CSR, has become a big deal in most of the corporate form of organization. The government of India, through its amendments, has given a lot of scope for those companies which contribute to CSR in terms of their exemption in profit. And this has been made as mandatory for those companies whose turnover is more than 100 crores. So now, instead of allowing those corporate form of organizations which are already registered with these exchanges, now if there are socially relevant enterprises, now we have seen about in 2022, we have seen nearly 242 unicorns that have come into India, which have generated a lot of capital mobilization. And those are all social corporate responsibility institutes, which means that the concept of the product or services which are generated by them are socially relevant, not in terms of making profit, socially relevant. To give an example, one person from Ahmedabad who was working with a multinational corporation has resigned and then came back to Hyderabad and set up a startup company which is a innovative product, online supply of the buffalo milk to pack services to all the corners of the Hyderabad city. Right now it is confined to only Hyderabad country delight. It's a good example, country delight. And in the supply of that, you get every household, wherever it is in Hyderabad, you get at 5 o'clock in the early morning. So imagine, and that is growing like anything. These are what we talk about socially relevant enterprises. So these are the ones which have to be promoted. So that is what exactly is the conceptualization of registration of this such kind of company from the exchange.
I'm afraid that all of you are waiting for lunch. We'll take 10 minutes, we'll close. And then last question to the panelists, and then we'll throw from the audience. Another question I have in mind is, why is the social package constant as the...
Give the chance for them to raise the
Yes.
question. You are raising first.
Yes. So I'll just make one comment. Why the social stock exchange concept has come is because of the VC's remarks about the social relevance of stock exchanges and human capital and how stock exchanges are contributing to in general these aspects, social aspects. So social stock exchanges, ESG, CSR, all are mobilized by stock exchange regulations. If stock exchange regulations are not there, mandating 2% of their net profits to go to CSR, that clause itself is mobilizing a lot of funds from large corporates who are profit making, and they are doing these things. So now I will throw open to the audience. You can mention the specific panel member to respond, or otherwise the panel members will choose whatever the question according to their specialization and preferences. So I request some of the volunteers to take this. You just raise your hand, or you can raise from your seats. Then the mic will come to you. Some of the volunteers, please. Volunteers from Nagarjuna University, Department of Commerce and Business Administration. Please.
My name is Bharat Kumar. At present, I am working as a lecturer in Commerce and Management. At Penn, I had a question regarding forward contracts. Forward contracts. Could you please tell me more and more about forward contracts? Future contracts and forward contracts. If it is possible, could you please tell more and more about forward contract and future contract? And what is the difference between today?
Our program has started with that only tomorrow morning.
Dear friend, try to remember one thing. మనకి ఏంటంటే మీరు అడిగిన క్వశ్చన్ ఏంటంటే ఇట్ ఇస్ అ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది డెరివేటివ్స్. ఒక్కటి గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి, మనం డెరివేటివ్స్ అంటే ఏంటంటే పర్టికులర్గా మనం స్టాక్ మార్కెట్లోకి ఎంటర్ అయ్యేటప్పుడు ఒక కాన్సెప్ట్ ఏంటంటే రిస్క్ కాన్సెప్ట్ ఈస్ హెవీ. ఆల్వేస్ వాట్ వీ సే జనరల్గా మనం ఏమంటే హై రిస్క్ హై రిటర్న్. అది తప్ప అసలు యాక్చువల్గా ఫస్ట్ ఫ్లోర్ నుంచి దూకితే మీకు 10,000 ఇస్తాను అంటే హ్యాపీగా దూకొచ్చు. 60 ఫ్లోర్ నుంచి దూకుతాను 60 లక్షలు ఇస్తానంటే 60 లక్షలు మీకైతే రావు, ఎందుకంటే మనం మోసం అవి వేరే వాళ్ళకి వెళ్ళిపోతుంది. స్టాక్ మార్కెట్ కూడా ఏంటంటే రిస్క్ని మిటిగేట్ చేయటం అంటే ఏంటి, మినిమం చేయటం. దానికి ఫార్వర్డ్ కాంట్రాక్ట్స్ అని ఫ్యూచర్ కాంట్రాక్ట్స్ అని మనకి అన్నీ ఉంటాయి. అయితే మీరు అడిగారు కదా ఈ రెండింటి డిఫరెన్స్ ఏందని చెప్పేసి, కొన్ని స్టాక్ ఎక్స్చేంజ్లు నమోదు అవుతాయి, కొన్ని కావు. అంటే కొన్ని ఫార్మల్గా ఉంటాయి, కొన్ని కాంట్రాక్ట్స్ అనేది ఇన్ఫార్మల్గా ఉంటాయి. ఐ థింక్ ఫార్వర్డ్ కాంట్రాక్ట్స్ ఆర్ స్టాండర్డైజ్డ్ యాక్చువల్లీ ఓటీసీ కింద ఉంటాయి కాబట్టి రైట్ ఫ్యూచర్ కాంట్రాక్ట్స్ ఆర్ స్టాండర్డైజ్డ్ బట్ నాట్ ది ఫార్వర్డ్ కాంట్రాక్ట్స్. ఇది మెయిన్ డిఫరెన్స్ యాక్చువల్. బట్ బోత్ ఆర్ బయర్ అండ్ సెల్లర్ ఉంటాయి. ఈ కాంట్రాక్ట్స్ ఏంటంటే ఎందుకంటే మన బోలకనాథ్ గారు ఒక ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇచ్చినారు. ఏదో మిర్చి 100 రూపాయలు బోలకనాథ్ గారు సంబంధం పర్సన్. మనకి మిర్చి ప్రజెంట్ మార్కెట్లో 100 రూపాయలు ఉన్నది, మనకి కాస్ట్ వచ్చేసి 50 రూపాయలు ఉన్నది. అది రావడానికి ఇంకొక 3 నెలలు పడుతుంది. 3 నెలలకి అది 100 రూపాయలు ఉండొచ్చు, 100 కంటే పైన ఉండొచ్చు, 100 కంటే తక్కువ ఉండొచ్చు. ఆ కాస్ట్ వచ్చేసి ఎంత అయింది? 50 రూపాయలు అయింది. అందుకని ఆయన ఫైన్ చేసిన భరత్ కుమార్ బాబు 100 టన్స్ మిర్చి వస్తున్నది, నువ్వు ఎంతకి కొంటావు? యూ సెడ్ 100 రూపీస్. ప్రజెంట్ మార్కెట్ కూడా అంతే ఉన్నది. కానీ దిస్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ టు హ్యాపెన్ ఆఫ్టర్ 3 months. 3 months ఏం జరుగుతుంది నాకు తెలియదు. నేను రిస్క్ తీసుకోలేదు, ఎందుకంటే నేను రైతులు కాబట్టి యాక్చువల్గా. మీరు రిస్క్ తీసుకోండి కాబట్టి ఏంటంటే మన అగ్రిమెంట్ అనేది 100 రూపీస్కి అయిపోయింది. When I got the 100 tons of that one, it is your responsibility to buy and make the payment to me, right? After payment అనేది ఏమైతే 100 రోజులు 80 ఉందనుకోండి, రైట్? దట్ 20 రూపీస్ డిఫరెన్స్ వేసి నేను రిస్క్ తీసుకోకుండా ఉన్నది అగ్రిమెంట్ చేసుకుందని 20 రూపీస్ నేను చేస్తున్నాను. దట్ ఈస్ ద 20 రూపీస్ మే బి a problem to you because you already admitted 100 rupees, but you are getting right now 80. ఇక్కడ ఏమైందంటే కాంట్రాక్ట్ డిఫర్ అయ్యే అవకాశం కూడా ఉంటుంది. మీరు ఓనరు, మీరు ఎక్కడ ఉన్నారో తెలియదు. దానికి అనుకుంది ఏంటంటే ఈ రెండింటిని కూడా మనకు ఒక ఇంక్లూడ్ ప్రైస్ అనేది ఉంటుంది. నేను ఐ డిఫర్ ద కాంట్రాక్ట్. అది 120 పోతే నేను మీకు కనపడను, 80 రూపీస్ వస్తే మీరు నాకు కనపడదు. దట్స్ వాట్ ఇది కంట్రాస్ట్ ఏంటంటే కొన్ని ఫార్మల్గా ఓపెన్ అవుతాయి, రైట్? ఫ్యూచర్స్ వాటి స్టాండర్డైజేషన్ అనేది ఉంటుంది. ఫార్వర్డ్ దాని స్టాండర్డైజేషన్ ఉంటుంది. కానీ ద కాన్సెప్ట్ ఏంటంటే ఫార్వర్డ్ అయినా ఫ్యూచర్స్ అయినా కానీ ఆప్షన్స్ అయినా స్టాక్స్ అయినా ఏంటంటే మన యొక్క రిస్క్ని మనం ముందు మిటిగేట్ చేసుకోగలమే. ఐ డోంట్ హ్యావ్ ఎక్స్పర్టైజ్, యూ హ్యావ్ ఎక్స్పర్టైజ్. దిస్ ఈస్ లైక్ ఎ బార్టర్ సిస్టమ్. మీ దగ్గర ఎక్స్పర్టైజ్ నేను ఇస్తున్నాను, నా దగ్గర ప్రొడక్ట్ అనేది మీకు ఇస్తున్నాను. దిస్ ఇస్ వాట్.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your excellent example. And actually, as madam is telling that forward contract is a OTC contract and exchange futures is a exchange traded contract, because that is futures the counterparty will be the exchange, so that they will not mitigate the counterparty risk. And as you know, all these derivative instruments can be used for speculation, hedging, and arbitrage. How you use it depends upon you. It's like a knife. You can cut the vegetables or you can do different things. So the derivatives is it's a must for all of you to understand and develop expertise, because 90% of the trading is done.
This is what the market expertise. ఇప్పుడు మనకి కరోనా వచ్చినప్పుడు రెండు మీరు చూసారు. ఒకటి డోలో 650 కామన్ టాబ్లెట్ అయిపోయింది కదా. రెండోది గ్రీన్ టీ తాగితే ఇమ్యూనైజేషన్ అనేది బాగా వస్తుందట. $1,500 million 15 days లో గ్రీన్ టీ అనేది డెవలప్ అయింది. అసలు గ్రీన్ టీ అయితే నిజంగా వస్తుంది. దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ ద ఎక్స్పర్టైజ్ అనేది లేనపోయిందని మనం డెరివేటివ్స్కి ఎంటర్ అవుతాం.
Thank you, sir. But one last question. In the interest of time, and lunch is waiting, and I don't like to stand between you and the lunch. One last question, then we will go for the summary of by Munar and Apsara. Yeah, madam, please.
I don't need a mic.
Yes.
Sir, now what some of the companies are not, they are very specific. For example, I don't want to take the name of the company. They will be asking 10,000. How can we bring inclusiveness in the investment, the capital market? Because unless we inclusiveness, how can the capital market become efficiency and environment participation? Is that because this is one of the questions before us, all of us.
సో ఇంత పర్మిషన్ ముందానపై గారు ఏంటంటే ఇప్పుడు మనకి ఏంటంటే ఫైనాన్షియల్ ఇంక్లూజన్స్లో మనకి ఏంటంటే ఎవ్రీ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ జరిగినప్పుడు ఖచ్చితంగా ప్రాపర్గా రికార్డు కావాలి. రికార్డు కాకుండా ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇప్పుడు మనకి లేబరర్స్ మనం పేమెంట్స్ తీసుకుంటాం, అది ఇక్కడ కూడా ఆయనకి అకౌంట్ ఉండదు, ఏమీ ఉండదు, మనం డబ్బులు ఇస్తుంటాం, ఆయన ఖర్చు పెట్టుకుంటాడు. దిస్ ఈస్ నాట్ నోవేర్ రికార్డెడ్. అయితే ముని నారాయణ అడిగిన క్వశ్చన్ ఏంటంటే దీనికి సంబంధించి ఇప్పుడు చాలా దేర్ ఆర్ సో మెనీ లైక్ చేంజెస్ కేమ్ ఇన్ ది స్టాక్ మార్కెట్ టు మేక్ ఇట్ ద స్టాక్ మార్కెట్ ఇస్ మోర్ డైనమిక్ యాక్చువల్. ఇప్పుడు ఏంటంటే వెన్ యూ బై ద అమౌంట్ విల్ బి డిడక్టెడ్, వెన్ యూ సెల్ ద అమౌంట్ విల్ బి క్రెడిటెడ్ ఇన్ ది ఇన్సూరెన్స్. అయితే మనకు డౌట్ ఏంటంటే వేర్ దిస్ అమౌంట్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ టు బి కెప్ట్ అనేది మనకు ఉంటుంది. ఇక్కడ ఏంటంటే 2 players విల్ బి ప్లేయింగ్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ రోల్, FII and DII, రైట్? అండ్ inclusive ఏంటంటే యాక్చువల్గా నౌ ద స్టాక్ మార్కెట్ హ్యాస్ డన్ సో మెనీ చేంజెస్ there is no doubt about it, and where there is no informal trading is done, inclusiveness ఉన్నట్టే లెక్క. Where there is a insider information, tomorrow the some share market earlier మన హర్షత్ మెహతా పీరియడ్ లో one share broker name is Black Cobra. Black Cobra స్టాక్ మార్కెట్ లోకి బిఎస్సి వస్తుందంటే అతను కొన్ని స్క్రిప్ట్ పేర్లు మాత్రం చెప్తాడు, అవి మాత్రం పెరుగుతాయి. మనం కామన్ ఇన్వెస్టర్స్ ఏమన్నా స్క్రిప్ట్ పెరుగుతుందో మనం కూడా ఇన్వెస్ట్ చేస్తాం, ఒకేసారి మార్కెట్ డౌన్ అవుతుంది. బికాస్ ఈ విల్ సెల్ ఆల్ ద స్క్రిప్ట్స్. లాస్ అయ్యేది ఏంటంటే యాజ్ సార్ చెప్పినట్లు ఏంటంటే దిస్ ఈస్ ద ప్రాబ్లమ్ విత్ ద ఇన్సైడర్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ విచ్ ఇస్ నాట్ డిస్క్లోజ్డ్ టు ఆల్ ద పీపుల్ యాక్చువల్లీ. నా ఒక్కడికే తెలుసు. అయితే ఇప్పుడు చాలా మటుకు కూడా కంట్రోల్ చేయడం జరిగింది. ఇప్పుడు కొంచెం మీరు అన్నది ఇంక్లూజివ్నెస్ లో తెలిసే ప్రాబ్లం ఉన్నది, బట్ ఇదివరకు ఉన్నంత ప్రాబ్లం అయితే ఇప్పుడు అయితే.
Thank you, sir. In the interest of time, I go to Madam's question.
Sir, recent Ukraine and Russia war, what is the impact on the global capital markets and especially on Indian capital markets?
I request Sudha Madam to respond to that. Ramesh sir, your choice.
Now, precisely, we have completed 1 year after today.
1 year, yeah.
Today, we have completed 1 year anniversary of completion of starting of the war against Ukraine by Russia. And you know that what was the envisaged war program of Russia, that we are going to complete the whole thing in 15 days and we are going to capture Ukraine in 15 days. Means 2 weeks. Now how many weeks? 54 weeks. Still not ending. And we have witnessed a lot of changes that have happened. One of the most important things in terms of supply, especially from Ukraine, not only India but many other countries are dependent. And that is one part. And second is, many countries are also dependent on Russia for supply of essential commodities and many other things. So what did we witness in 1 year? Except that the oil prices, when it comes to impact on India, the impact I won't see anything except for the initial period of 2 months after the war started, till April 22 or maybe middle of March 22. We had witnessed a lot of inflation in terms of our food items as well as the oil, cooking oil. And then the most important impact was on the diesel and petrol products. So these were the only important things what we witnessed. But subsequently they have become subdued. And one of the important strategic partnerships what India has with Russia, as all of you are aware of it. Though we are not against US decision of supporting Ukraine, but at the same time their friendship with Russian economy continue. And it is only India which has received the oil product at a concessional rate, blessing in disguise, because at that point of time actually oil prices were very high. After the Ukraine war started, and our oil prices have come down. And this is the greatest impact, positive, what you need to think of. But unfortunately, the government of India has not passed on that benefit. Can you imagine the crude oil was supplied at the rate of $64 per barrel by Russia, when it was actually $80+, which is the international price. And now this advantage, the retail investors, retail consumers in India, we did not realize it. Now we have seen these statements that are given by the Union government that they are going to likely to reduce the oil prices in India after almost 8 months.
Thank you, sir. Thank
So
you.
that is what it is. So I don't find any kind of impact as far as the Ukraine war is concerned. And that's my
All
answer.
its reserves are in India.
Yes.
India is buying it cheap and selling to US the same oil. The same oil is being sold to US. So our forex reserves are increased. So for us it's a good thing. We never got oil so cheap. And our primary import item is crude oil. And there's no industry which doesn't need oil. Everybody needs oil. And so we are getting it cheap. It's good for us.
That's all because of strategic financial, foreign policy pursued by the government.
Thank you, sir. It has been a wonderful panel, and as you know, as a lot of issues have come about, and stock market is impacted by all news, global news, local news, political news, all the news. Yes, in fact, stock market is an aggregator of information. All information is impounded into the prices. Price discovery is the main function of stock market. Thank you. We will break for lunch, and after lunch, Professor Ramesh sir will take the session. Professor Ramesh sir from Goa University will take the session. Now we will break for lunch, and we will close this panel discussion.
One second.